Welcome to the third webinar in our Chatter series. My name is Robin Daniels, and I'm Director of Product Marketing for Salesforce Chatter. Today, we have a great webinar lined up. We'll be talking about how to build social and collaborative enterprise applications on Force.com with Chatter. You'll see how quickly you can make any application much more dynamic and engaging with Chatter and what benefits that will give your company and your apps. Our main speaker today is Andrew Lee. He's Director of Product Marketing for Force.com at Salesforce.com. But we also have a customer, Stratus Technologies, who will tell us about their custom apps that have been chatterized that they built on Force.com. In addition, we also have ServiceMax with us today, who will show us a great customer service application they've built with Force.com and Chatter. And finally, we're also giving away 10 iPads. We'll announce the winners at the end of today's call, so please stay tuned. Just to let you know before we get started, Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company, and here's our safe harbor statement. For more details, please go to our website to read this in more detail. With that said, I'd like to hand over our call to Andrew Lee. Take it away, Andrew.
Great. Thank you very much, Robin. Hello, everybody. And first of all, on behalf of Salesforce.com, I want to thank each and everyone to joining us today. I think we have a very exciting topic. What we're going to do is talk about custom application development. And we've been doing custom application development out there on the Force.com platform for well over 6 years now. But what's really exciting is now the ability to be able to make those custom applications that you build completely social and really be able to make them much more productive by bringing in the collaboration capabilities of the Chatter solution into every custom app that you build forward. So my goal today is to kind of give you a little overview of the Force.com platform and developing apps in general. And then we want to go ahead and talk a little bit about how all of the Chatter components are actually fully integrated into that platform and are available to you free of charge for anybody who has a Force.com license as well as a CRM license. And then probably most important, again, we're going to have Stratus and ServiceMax actually talk to you and show you exactly what they did on the Force.com platform when they built their custom applications and they used Chatter to be able to make their custom apps social. So let's do a quick overview of the Force.com platform. And I realize, out on the call today, we have several hundred people, so skill sets are varied. We have some people who have been developing on the Force.com platform for years, and other people who are still saying, well, what's the difference between Salesforce.com and Force.com? So I want to do a very quick overview of Force.com just to explain to everybody that Force.com is the development platform that underlines everything here at Salesforce.com. That means that Force.com is the development environment that all of our developers use to build our CRM packaged applications. It's the development environment that all of our ISV partners, an example today would be ServiceMax, what they use to build their native applications that are available off of the App Exchange. And probably, to me, most exciting, it's the same development environment that we make available out to our customers, and it's the environment that our customers have now used to build well over 140,000 custom applications on the Force.com platform. Many of you may not be aware that Gartner now is in the second year evaluating the Force.com development platform and putting it up against some of the classic enterprise application servers out there like WebSphere or BEA. And we're actually out in the visionary quadrant, and Gartner speaks very highly, saying that up to 20 to 30% of application development over the next 2 years will be done in the cloud as opposed to on-premise. And probably most important to the people on the call today is really, why do you build applications on something like the Force.com platform? Because it's a cloud-based platform, what that means is that you get a pace of innovation that we make available through that platform that you just simply can't get from on-premise solutions. I think it's interesting to note that today is the milestone for Microsoft SharePoint, which has taken 3 years to bring out their latest release. The latest release is available today, and I think the version that they made available before was 2007. So in the 3 years that it took them to get SharePoint out, we actually have released about 3 major releases per year. That would be 9 releases. And in those 9 releases, what you've seen from the Force.com platform, not only the App Exchange, Chatter, Apex Code, Sites, Visual Process Manager, a whole host of innovation that we roll out free of charge to every person who builds custom applications on Force.com. So, what is the fundamental issue of building on-premise? When I go out and I talk to CIOs and IT executives today, they say, I've got an amazing amount of hardware and infrastructure that I have to support. I have to support my data center. I have all kinds of servers that I have to load and I have to maintain them. And ultimately, it's just too slow for me to be able to do all of the work that I'm required to do in terms of infrastructure and software maintenance, and then be able to keep up to the pace of business, which increasingly is going faster and faster every day. We always talk about the downturn in the budget over the last 2 or 3 years, but the CIOs that I talk to have said that they have consistently seen their IT budgets be cut all the way back to the dot-com bust, which is, at this point about 10 years ago. And they're simply looking to be able to do more with less. And what we say about the Force.com platform is it simply gives you an alternative. It doesn't have to be a full replacement, but it gives you an alternative of a place where you can rapidly build applications for any department across your company and be able to deploy those applications across any department within the enterprise and be able to do so much more quickly and at a lower cost. We believe that ultimately Force.com is a better way, and if you think about the Force.com platform, I think it's best to kind of break it up into its 3 layers. The first is kind of the core cloud-based infrastructure, and within the infrastructure we have all the components for security, for scalability, for performance. We're providing the 5-minute upgrade. We're also providing things like real-time integration with a web services API to communicate to the rest of your IT portfolio. And of course, the entire thing is based on the 3 global data centers that give you full disaster recovery and redundancy across the world. Most important for this call, however, is that what are the tools that we make available for you to be able to build custom applications on the Force.com platform? And that's that middle layer. It's the development layer. And the way that you build a custom application on Force.com is really the same way that we've always built custom apps going back for the last 15 to 20 years. You create a data model within the solution. You then apply the sharing rules and the roles. You then attach logic on that. Most of the logic that is applied in Force.com can be declaratively done through either the Visual Process Manager or the workflow rules. If you need to do programmatic code, we now make available the Apex code or Visual Force to do that. We made an announcement just 2 weeks ago where we will be supporting Java through what we call VM Force going forward in a partnership with VMware. And then finally, you deploy that across any UI that you choose, whether that's a standard web browser, whether that's a mobile phone like the iPhone, the iPad, or a BlackBerry. And then we attach things like real-time analytics, a knowledge and content management solution. And if we haven't built it in the platform and you're not sure if you want to build it yourself, we always recommend the first place you should go is out to the App Exchange to see what components, what applications are available from partners that are completely fully integrated to the multi-tenant stack. And then at the top is the layer that we're talking about today. So it's the capability of bringing in all of the collaboration and productivity assets from the Chatter platform and be able to build things like profiles and status updates into your custom applications itself. We believe fundamentally that what this makes Force.com is by far the most comprehensive and the most proven development platform out in the cloud. We're not the only ones. We've listened to a lot of customers, and we're going to have a customer and a partner here today that will talk about the speed, the cost, and the quality of building apps out on Force.com. But there have been a number of different independent studies out there, probably about 4 or 5 that were done over the last 24 months. Probably the most prominent is the IDC report, where they basically documented it was about 5 times faster and half the cost to build a custom application on the Force.com platform. They talk about the development time being reduced 76%. Most importantly, the time to make changes, the agility factor of an application being reduced by 75%, and the total cost of the application over a 3-year period being reduced by about 54%. Interesting enough, they said the average application on Force.com was taking people only about 12 weeks to build, and again, that was about 5 times faster than a standard on-premise application. And they actually estimated that the total cost of ownership, and about 80 to 90% of that was the maintenance of maintaining the infrastructure and the stack, the application, the bug fixes, the storage. The average customer was saving about $560,000 over 3 years per application. And we have a lot of customers out there where they've done some really nice deep dive studies with different third-party analysts, including IDC and Nucleus Research. Nimbus is running about 70 to 80% of their overall company on Force.com, and they're estimating saving about $1 million per year. The Schumacher Group is running some of their core operations around emergency room staffing, and they've been able to save about $1.3 million per year. Our own State Department doing things in the nuclear non-proliferation department globally built a global budget management application where they estimate saving up to $1.6 million. And Vitrazo, a small mid-sized company which runs probably about 90 to 95% of their company, including their entire manufacturing process, saving about $324,000. So there are real concrete cost savings from building applications on the Force.com platform. One of my favorites is probably Japan Post, and Japan Post at this point remains one of the largest customers across all of the CRM customers, but also across the, excuse my little alarm there, but also one of the largest platform customers. They're deployed with well over 100,000 users using 8 major applications. You can see the applications that they've built, ranging all the way from operations audits to accident claims, bank commissions, product reporting. They estimated about a 75% reduction in the time it took to build those applications and get them live, about half the cost of on-premise development, and perhaps even more important was the qualitative benefits that they got in 91% fewer bugs in the custom apps that they rolled out. People always ask, what are the right applications to build on a cloud-based platform? And, there's a lot of different answers, and we're always kind of willing to work with you, but I think anytime that you need to manage any kind of business data, whether that's projects or whether or not that's, something even as complex as something like order management, whether that's contract management, I always start with the data first, but I look at the types of applications that most people talk to us about, and, there's a couple patterns that keep reemerging. Anytime that any customer has a lot of Lotus Notes applications within their portfolio and they're looking to replacement, I think that Force.com is definitely a great alternative there, and ASCAP and Lawson are great examples. Departmental apps, so anytime that you need to automate, a process within a department. Just last week I was talking to an analyst who told me that the estimates are most companies, both mid-size and enterprise size, really feel like they're only able to automate about 25% of the entire company with their IT budget today. So anytime that you need to automate anything across the rest of the 75% of the company, Force.com makes a lot of sense. And I think Dell is a great example with their IT governance and release management app. 2020 building a very complex order management application as well. And business process apps with a visual process manager where you can now graphically draw out a process and then instantly deploy it with 2 clicks out to the cloud. We're seeing people like Vitrazo who are automating their manufacturing process, and Sovereign Insurance, who has automated the entire insurance claims management application. And with the introduction of sites just about 2 years ago, there's now nearly 40,000 websites running on Force.com. Good examples of that was Starbucks with their Pledge 5 consumer-based web application, and Lycor building a full e-commerce application where they sell all of their products in a pretty complex fashion over the internet. So these are just some of the design patterns that I think are a good fit for the Force.com platform. So let's touch a little bit about taking these applications and really, bringing the power of chatter and collaboration to them. So what is chatter? I think most people on the phone today on this webinar are familiar with chatter. It's a new initiative that we rolled out last Dreamforce. We actually have well over 500 people in the beta program. In just a few weeks, maybe a few months, we're going to announce full GA of chatter. Essentially, chatter is a new way of collaborating within business applications. It works very similar to Facebook. If you guys are familiar with Facebook, I think most of the people on the call probably have a Facebook account by now. The breakthrough with Facebook is not that we could all, hear about what Ashton Kutcher was doing, but what Mark Benioff essentially says is, why do I know so much information about all of my friends and my family, but I don't know that level of information about the people and the events and the objects within my company? So essentially what we've done is we've taken the collaboration paradigm that Facebook has kind of brought out and trained everybody in the consumer web on, and we've brought that directly to the enterprise world and made it available within your business applications, and done so in a very secure and private fashion. And we think about what that means to a custom application. That means, really bringing out profiles. So now every user who uses an application on the Force.com platform or even the CRM apps has a full profile, just like Salesforce or just like Facebook, where you can see a picture, you can see what they're doing, you can see their feeds, and you can subscribe to people and understand. It really brings kind of a human element to every application within the platform. We also have the idea of feeds. So instead of going and hunting and pecking and trying to find information in a tab-based UI, now you have a real-time feed where you can see all of the events from all of the people that you subscribe to, but perhaps even more important, all of the objects or events within the system, including things like orders or projects. You can see all of that in real time, actively feeding these real-time feeds out into your own personalized feed. It gives things like status updates. You can attach things like groups, and you can attach it any kind of app. You can even do things like document sharing. So we're seeing people share things like the latest pricing doc out on Chatter, and people can subscribe to that, and then that automatically links them out to content. And they can do things like basically building, fully social applications. And we really do believe that this is a fundamental transformation in the way that business applications are being not only built, but being delivered and consumed from the end user across businesses today. I think probably the most important thing out there is that, there are a number of different kind of social applications that people have tried to bring into the business over the last 3 to 4 years. I think of examples like Yammer. And while I think they had the right idea, what's really different fundamentally about Chatter is that when we built Chatter, we built it to the core architecture of the platform. And that means that at the field and the object layer, it is using the exact same sharing rules and the sharing model that you set up initially for all of your users. So that means that if a user asks to see information about a project or asks to see information about a contract or an opportunity, they would get the same level of access to that object that they would normally get through the standard UI. And that doesn't require any additional setup on behalf of the IT organization. So it really is something that's both in context of the business applications that you're building, but also attached at the architectural level to the sharing and security model that's already available within Force.com. So I think that's hopefully a pretty good overview of the Force.com platform. Gives you an idea of some of the classic design patterns. But, I think the most exciting thing that we can do is let's hear from some customers that have actually done it today. We're really excited to have Scott Melick, and Scott Melick basically is handling everything cloud computing at Stratus. Stratus is, one of our customers that have been around, I think, Scott, probably for about 5 or 6 years. If you could just give us a little information about Stratus and tell us about the custom applications that you've built on the Force.com platform and how you've brought Chatter into those applications to make them more productive and more collaborative for your end users.
Thanks, Andrew. It's a pleasure to be involved early on with this exciting new business technology. Let me quickly do a lead-in here to let you guys know a little bit about Stratus Technologies. Here at Stratus, we focus exclusively on helping our customers to keep our business operations online without any interruption. We deliver a wide range of solutions that include software-based high availability, fault-tolerant servers, availability consulting and assessment, and remote system management services. You can go on here to the next slide, Andrew. So at Stratus, we've developed several applications using the Force.com platform. I'm going to highlight 2 of them today on the webinar. And the first one here that's on the screen, I'm going to talk a little bit about, which is our professional services application. And we use this to manage our projects, our time and expenses, our resource skills, our invoicing, documents, all the way through to book revenue. This app took us probably about 3 weeks to develop and to deploy to our field services organization. It replaced another on-demand application from another vendor that was simply unable to provide a simple and effective tool to let us drive this side of the business.
Scott, that's amazing. Let me jump in real quick. When you say you built this application and you're doing things like booked revenue and invoicing and managing all of the documents, 3 weeks with how many resources?
3 weeks with about 3 resources, and none of them were full-time assigned to this project. So,
and it's been out in production for how long?
So we've been using this for about 2 years, and then came Chatter. It's really kind of invigorated life back into this application. We found the value was instant, and for us, it required absolutely no training. Our field services team simply started using it. The project managers started using Chatter to track changes on their projects they worked on. And for instance, in this screenshot, changes in product status or approval simply were natural. I think they honed in very quickly on the benefit. It also allowed the project team to weigh in on the project that they are working on. They were sharing information, discussing issues regarding the projects or around an account. It really just kind of happened. It was kind of nice to sit back and not have to be involved with another piece of development or deployment and just see it kind of happen. So our next, you can flip to the next slide.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, before I flip to the next slide, I just want to make sure that I understand. So you guys are following people here. You're also following objects as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. So this is a screenshot of a project, and the flow here of this screenshot simply shows that a project was activated, and Noel Moss here on the screen was following a project here, and he was able to see the status changes. And I think most importantly here, that you can't see was it went from a submission stage to an approval stage. And I know from a project manager, that's an important facet to understand.
Yeah, no, I think that's key. And as we move up to that next platform or the next application, I think that's a great example of how this isn't just Facebook on top of Salesforce.com. It's simply taking that kind of collaboration paradigm from Facebook, but really building it right into those business objects that you created within our data model.
Correct. Excuse me. Correct. And I think that's probably the best value for us here at Stratus. Although we've seen communications back and forth between people, and people are accustomed to using social platforms in that manner, I think it's been the data talking back to people that has proven the most value. Especially in this case, this next application was designed to manage our software licensing. This application is really kind of critical to our new service and support that we just moved to on Salesforce.com. We'd actually migrated off of SharePoint 2007 here to a custom service application in order to improve our partner and customer experience. Each of our installed instance of our software has a unique record in Salesforce.com. That record is a custom application in Salesforce.com, and it represents the license that has been purchased. In fact, our customers can actually log into our portals and download the licenses right from Salesforce.com. But one of the critical requirements was that our service agents needed the ability to subscribe or to follow installations in order to receive critical updates or any issues that arise. In a particular instance or installation, there may be a specific set of instructions on how to provide service as well. For example, they may need to be required to obtain security clearance before servicing a particular company. Having this chatter allowed our service agents to follow these installations, be notified when important issues arose, or note specific comments that may be added to an installation, and allowing us to be proactive instead of reactive.
That's great. So Scott, let me ask, you've built these two custom applications on the Force.com platform. Does that mean that they're fully integrated together with all the other apps that you've built on Force.com and also the packaged CRM apps that you run from Salesforce?
Correct. For instance, our sales agents are now able to have visibility into their licensing information for customers and partners. And likewise, our service agents are able to see opportunities in play, opportunities in the pipeline, what may be done, what sort of correspondence are happening, and they may approach a situation accordingly. Absolutely.
That's amazing. I think, my last question is, okay, that's integration to all the applications you built on Force.com, but of course, we're not a closed platform. What about integration out to your kind of legacy on-premise applications, things like your ERP? How do you facilitate that, and what was your experience? Was it easier or harder? Was it rapid to be able to integrate Force.com and these applications out to the rest of your on-premise world?
Well, absolutely. The services application is integrated to our legacy applications. Our servers actually phone information home, and that information is integrated over to Salesforce.com. It was funny you noted that we are a long-time customer. I mean, we're going back, I think we're coming on our 6th year. One of the reasons we moved to Salesforce was for the sole purpose of integration. We had to have an integration back to our Oracle ERP. And back, 6 years ago, I think it was approximately 3 weeks and probably another 3 people devoted to the implementation that got us off the ground and going. It was as amazing back then as it is now. And we've been through many major upgrades, and it's been fantastic seeing new enhancements and releases, things like Chatter coming down the pike. It's been fantastic.
Oh, Scott, this is amazing, and I just got the screenshots for this and talked to you just a few weeks ago about this, and I really think the way that you guys have kind of brought Chatter in and the way that you've been able to roll it out in just a matter of a few days, when I hear you're able to build and integrate applications within a few weeks, it's a true success story. So again, thank you very much, and when we open up for QA, hopefully you'll be available to take a couple of questions from the audience as well.
Absolutely. Thanks.
The next thing that we want to highlight is, here we just heard Scott talk about as a customer, deploying applications out to their users. But what about applications that a company depends on and is actually making available out to their end customers? So what we wanted to do was actually bring Atani on, who's the VP of Products from ServiceMax. And if you're not familiar with ServiceMax, I think ServiceMax is one of the most complex and one of the most robust custom applications that have been built on the Force.com platform, and that what essentially ServiceMax is trying to automate is field service. And, having experience with field service, I know that, even the packaged application vendors that have tried to build field service out in the past have really struggled to do so because it has to do things like inventory management, not only inventory within warehouses, but things like trunk inventory. You need to be able to keep track of all kinds of mobile users. You might be running on different devices. But ServiceMax has really kind of moved into that area and really built an amazing solution fairly rapidly for field service. So, Atani, if you can give us a little bit of information about the application you built on Force.com, and then tell us, how are you using Chatter to make that a more productive solution?
Absolutely. Thank you, Andrew. And it's great to have an opportunity to talk to the Salesforce.com community and customers out there and share with them how excited we are about innovation, the rapid innovation that you earlier talked about coming down to us and enabling us to provide fantastic capability to our customer community, but also especially about Chatter. So just a quick, you did a great job introducing the field service management domain that our application addresses. I'll just take one more minute here. So as Andrew mentioned, field service management essentially is about companies that have field technicians running around in trucks, servicing residential customers, businesses, and other facilities with providing installation activities, repair activities, and maintenance activities. So what we do is we have actually built a full suite of capabilities to enable companies like that to run their field service management business process entirely natively on Salesforce.com. So as you can see in the wheel here, we support the end-to-end business processes, taking advantage of all of the capabilities, a lot of capabilities that are available on the Force.com platform, including customer self-service portal enablement capability, partner portal, mobile enablement, which Andrew talked about, and I'll show an aspect of that in the demo as well. So the idea is that we are able to plug right into the Service Cloud capability that Salesforce.com offers and extend that to provide field service management capability to our customers. Andrew, could you go to the next slide, please? So just a quick background from my side, and also a little bit more about the application. I come from over 15 years of experience having provided work with customers on various legacy applications that were addressing the field service management need in terms of PeopleSoft, and Siebel, and Oracle, and so on and so forth. 3 years ago, we came in contact with Salesforce.com, the Force.com application, and instantly fell in love with it in terms of really understanding the power of the platform and its ability to enable us to rapidly build and deliver key functionality that field service customers will require, and really provide them in a different and more novel fashion. So we took on this job of building full suite of applications. We launched our first version of the application within 3 months after starting the development. Since then, we have gone through about 8 releases upgrades to our application, introducing a wide variety of capabilities to our customers, ranging from mobile enablement of field technicians and a field workforce, ability to tap into social communities around Twitter and Facebook, where customer service engagements may be heading as opposed to phone-based world. Obviously, Chatter, which we're going to be taking advantage of, and I'll show you a little bit of that demo in the next few minutes. But also VMforce, the announcement that came up a couple of weeks ago, is also a fantastic right step for us in terms of being able to expand the ability to provide capabilities to our customers, integrate with the rest of the applications that our customers might be using, and so on. So, Andrew, if you could please transfer control, I'll get into the demo.
Yep. So, Atani, I just handed it over to you. Let me know if you can grab that, and let's go ahead and go into the application. And I think what would be great is, you talk a lot about, being able to leverage the mobile capability and the Chatter capability and being able to use the logic. And I think a lot of people always ask about, how can you build an application like this in only 3 months? And the answer that we often give is that because, when you build an application here, you're able to make use of all of our pre-built and fully integrated services. Things like mobile, you don't have to build your own mobile platform. Things like analytics, you're able to just leverage our analytics right out of the box. So yeah, in the demo, you can go ahead and show us kind of what have you built. And then most importantly, when you turn on Chatter, show us, go into the setup screens and give us an idea of how you were able to enable Chatter within the application.
Absolutely, will do. Now, I'm not able to grab the control of the demo yet. Do you mind trying to transfer one more time?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that for you.
Okay, I got it now. So let me grab the control. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. So let me quickly address the question that you asked, which is a very relevant one, and this is something that we talk to our customers about quite actively. Is that we have in the past 3 years of being in the business of providing on-demand and cloud-based field service management capabilities, we have looked at other platforms and actually come to a conclusion that Salesforce.com, Force.com platform is the most evolved, most mature, enterprise apps-friendly platform. So what it does is actually, as you rightly pointed out, has all of the underlying capabilities in terms of being able to build complex relational data model, workflow capabilities, for being able to quickly put together user interface interaction layers to a level where 100% of our engineering dollars go into building feature functions that are directly used by customers. We don't worry about the plumbing, the operations, the multi-language, multi-currency enablement, scalability, none of that. We completely derive upon Salesforce.com's platform strength to provide all of that to our customers. So we can then take the entire engineering force and build rich and deep capabilities rapidly and bring it to our customer community. Okay? So let me dive into the demo here. So what you're seeing here is an example demo flow that I put together for this discussion. So the use case is that there is a company called Health Devices, Inc., the logo you see up here, that makes heart monitoring devices and treatment equipment and sells it to hospitals. So that is a customer that's using ServiceMax, sitting entirely natively on top of Force.com platform, and they manage their field service management processes on it. So what they've done is, we actually went and looked at the Chatter and embraced that in a slightly different way. So when you looked at the previous discussion from Stratus, I saw that they've enabled people to talk to each other and collaborate. They've enabled transactions and other objects to feed status changes and things to people so that they can proactively get access to it. So what we did was we said, okay, why can't we use this Chatter collaboration platform to get the installed devices out in the field? An example being, in this case, a heart monitoring device that is out there installed in a hospital somewhere in the basement. Why can't we have that equipment or machine talk to us through Collaboration Cloud? So what if that machine can talk to me and tell me proactively if there is any issue that is brewing, if there is an error that's been encountered, so that I can quickly look at it and take action around it and proactively send a technician out to take care of the issue even before customer notices the issue, right? So proactive service model. So we have been able to essentially set that up in a very quick fashion. So I'd like to introduce you to a couple of concepts that we built leveraging chatter capability on the Force.com platform, what we call a product chatter as well as chatter volume. So what you're seeing here on the home screen is Stacy Epstein. I'm logged in as Stacy, who is the service manager, and who's looking at the chatter feed. And as you can notice here, there are a couple of machines or equipments, heart monitoring equipments that are talking to me and telling me about some critical diagnostic errors that have happened that have occurred, which they're collaborating with me through phone home system. So we've actually taken the phone home technology, connected it to the Force.com cloud using chatter collaboration capability. And we were able to do that pretty quickly. In fact, Andrew, in response to an early question that you asked, it actually took us about 2 weeks since we put our hands on chatter. There were a couple of engineers working on it. We were able to quickly build this capability of being able to bring phone home system technology and connect it with chatter so that we can make available machines talking to me type scenario here. The second thing that we did was we've actually created visualization of these chatter feeds coming to me from these devices. So I can then quickly go into this chatter volume snippet within ServiceMax, and I can see where the issues are coming from. So here, in this case, example case, there are a few hospitals in the New York, Manhattan area which are talking to me, and I can kind of take a temperature out of those, depending on how many chatter feeds I'm receiving them. So you will see that there are a few yellow hot issues, and there's one red hot issue here that I'm able to see machines communicating to me.
So, Atani, if I can mention here, so what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a custom application, field service application that you built on Force.com, but then you're using a mashup, which is overlaying the data that you're storing within Force.com on top of a Google map, and it looks like, if I understand this, part of New York, and then you're also kind of tying in kind of a graphical alert for each one. That's great. And, the way that it knows that these are at that location, is it using some kind of GPS-enabled device? I mean, would this kind of application work on something like an iPad or an iPhone as well?
Absolutely, and that's a great point, Andrew. In this case, these equipments have not only inbuilt phone home technology, but also have GPS homing devices. So we're able to bring that information directly into Force.com ServiceMax through chatter collaboration interface, and we're able to now visualize that on the map. So a service manager logging in can see not only which devices are talking to me and communicating about some issues, but I can also see where, and I can also see how the criticality of the issue in a visualized map. I want to take a quick switch here, and I want to switch into showing you how easy was it for us to enable the chatter feed capability on our ServiceMax objects, which are a custom managed package built on Force.com platform.
So you're taking us, Atani, if I understand, you're taking us right into the setup screens, and I'm assuming most people on the phone are probably familiar with this. If you have admin rights, these are the screens where you're able to create your own object, you're able to build your own workflow, you're able to write your own Apex classes. But in this case, you're taking us into a new section that's down at the bottom that says chatter, and we can see settings, and then we can see a new line, feed tracking. And so you're doing this within the core setup screens, and it looks like at the field level.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I went to setup. I expanded the customize section, and if you look at the down below here, there is a new section that's come up that's available to me now called chatter, and I'm going to go to a page called feed tracking. So essentially what this is the moment I go in here, along with the standard Salesforce objects, I'm able to see the custom objects coming from the ServiceMax managed package, things like installed products, which represents the equipment installed in the basement of a hospital, or technicians or work orders. I'm able to now go in here and say, okay, I want to track whenever an installed product status changes, or whenever certain dates change on it, or description changes on it. So just like how in the previous discussion, Stratus was showing ability to track the status change on projects, I'm able to do a similar thing on my equipment that I manage through ServiceMax, work orders, technicians, and any other piece of information that is relevant to field service. With the click of a button, I'm able to quickly enable those objects talking to me. On top of that, what we were also able to do is take advantage of the object model of the chatter collaboration capability available on Force.com platform, and have the phone home system come through the API layer to talk to us in terms of providing, inserting feeds that I can stay tuned to.
So you're integrating with legacy environments as well, and you're essentially integrating through the Force.com Web Services API, and it's just web services being passed back and forth between the two or the multiple systems, just like Stratus.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so going through the flow here, now that I'm able to, as a service manager, come in and understand exactly where the fires are brewing, if you will, and I'm able to see them on the map, I'm able to take action on it. So I can click on this, for example, it'll actually launch me into a dispatch console like this, which we have again built natively on Force.com platform using the native integration available into Adobe Flex technology. So this whole interface, what we call dispatch board, is an interface that we're able to develop on Flex. So what it shows me is the fact that there's a new work order that I just created by clicking on the button on that heat map. I'm able to see who are the technicians in the area, and then I'm able to quickly dispatch somebody that's close to it. But I think Andrew, my last point here is that the best part of Chatter being available to us for our domain, for our customers that we address, is actually the fact that it instantly became available on our mobile application as well. So as we talked earlier, ServiceMax, in our ServiceMax, we use Salesforce.com's native mobile capability and make available capabilities for field technicians to receive job, understand the details, and work on it. So, but the beauty is that I'm now able to enable collaboration in the field on mobile devices. So if I can show that to you really quick, I've logged in as a technician who has just been dispatched to go attend to this device that was talking about critical errors. I'm able to see that work order. I'm able to go in here into the work order. I'm able to see all of the details about the location of the service that needs to be provided, all of the details about the device, etc. But what I can do is I can go in and take a look at the product feed. So what product feed is that we have set up a chat-enabled feed on the product itself, which is the heart monitor device here. And technicians that are out in the field can collaborate among themselves and tap into the tribal knowledge that's available in the field. If I'm a tech that runs into an issue that I haven't seen before, in the previous world, I would have had to send an email, make a phone call, jump through hoops to understand a solution. But now I can quickly, as this chatter conversation shows, quickly put a question on the chatter feed and blast it through my mobile device. Other technicians as well as product experts sitting in my company can collaborate and jump on it and quickly provide me instant answers using which I can solve customer problems quickly and more effectively. So we were able to enable collaboration in the field on mobile devices instantly using chatter capability that's on Force.com. So that's a pretty thrilling prospect for our customers.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'll tell you, when I saw Chatter, I understand it running within the application, but when I start to understand that you can kind of run through the Chatter feed very rapidly on a mobile phone, I'm the type who takes the train into work for 45 minutes every morning, and that's what I do. I check my BlackBerry, I check my iPhone in the morning. It seems like a really great way to kind of come up to speed on what's happening within the company. So I'm really glad you're able to show that. And, the Flex interface is also a great example of how you can use our user interface, or you can completely change that user interface with something like Visual Force, or in this case, Flex. My only last question for you, Tani, is if I understand, is all of this happening real time? So, you saw those blinking feeds, and I'm seeing the iPhone, and I'm seeing the Flex controller. Is all of that happening essentially in real time?
Absolutely, and it's a great point that you're getting into, Andrew, is the way we have set up the integration into Chatter Cloud is that these machines talk to me instantly, real time, and I can see the Chatter feeds coming in on a real-time basis. The dispatch to a technician on mobile device happens instantly as well. The moment I say, yes, I'm going to dispatch Scott, the message shows up on Scott's mobile device. And the collaboration that we talked about in the field in terms of Scott seeking help from other technicians in the field is also instantaneous. It can happen on real time, which otherwise would have taken multiple days to achieve the same thing.
So absolutely amazing. So let me go ahead and pop back out. Although after seeing that, it's pretty hard to kind of follow that up with more slides. But I think what we want to do is simply cover about 3 more slides and simply tell the audience, how can you get involved in what's going on with Chatter? And again, Chatter is not something that we're charging. If you already have Salesforce.com CRM, or in this case, if you already have any kind of Force.com license, we make Chatter completely fully enabled, free of charge for you. And we currently have the beta program, which we have Robin here to talk about. If I understand, Robin, the beta program is still available. People can still become part of it. And then when does this thing go GA? When does everybody get it?
That's a great question, Andrew. Yes, absolutely. The beta program is still running. So we announced the beta program in February of this year, and so far we've had tremendous success with the beta program. We've have more than 1,000 customers now actively using Chatter in their companies. And if you want to get involved, I'll tell you in just a moment how you can get Chatter in your company as well. Chatter itself will be live to all our customers later this year, so stay tuned for that. Here I'm just going to show you some of the feedback we've been getting on Chatter itself. Have you ever heard this about enterprise applications? It's pretty amazing to see what our customers are saying about Chatter. You know, it's mind-blowing. It's crazy cool. So Chatter really is a game changer. It changes your whole experience of what it means to use Salesforce. It also changes how you can build applications because instantly all your applications become social, becomes collaborative, becomes engaging, becomes much more dynamic. So we're really excited about releasing Chatter to you very soon. So with that said, let me just cover the winners of the iPad contest. Of course, we're really excited about reaching this milestone of having 1,000 customers in the beta program. So with that, I want to also, we're giving away 10 iPads to really celebrate that fact because we were blown away. Originally, we were planning to just open up the beta program to 100 customers, but we've had such a big amount of requests from our customers and our partners to really be part of this phenomenon that we're now at over 1,000 companies using Chatter. So with that said, let me go through just one at a time and just mention the winners who are on the call today. Yeah, absolutely. If you can email me at rdaniels@salesforce.com, then we'll get that iPad sent to you right away. So the winners are, I'm just going to go through slowly. The first one is Rosalind Litchfield. Again, that's Rosalind Litchfield. Congratulations. Then we got William Norse, and that's William Norse. Then we got Alyssa Anderson, and that's Alyssa Anderson. Then we got Bill Knoll, Austin Merritt. We got Austin Merritt, who's also won an iPad. Kemi Lee, that's Kemi Lee. Then we got J.P. Seabury, that's J.P. Seabury. We got Kelvin Young, that's Kelvin Young. Martha Senata, that's Martha Senata. And Monica Choi is the last one, Monica Choi. Congratulations to all 10 of you for winning an iPad. Send me an email at rdaniels@salesforce.com, and we'll get those sent to you right away. All right. And if you just move on, just to wrap up the call before we open it up for Q&A, if you want to be part of the beta program, please send an email to iwantchatter@salesforce.com. Again, the beta program is only open to Salesforce customers. You have to be using Salesforce today. If you're interested in a free trial of Chatter, that'll be coming later this year, so just stay tuned for that. You can also become a fan of Chatter on Facebook, where you can interact with other users who are actively using Chatter and also get all the latest news, and that's facebook.com/SalesforceChatter. We're coming up with some more webinars in this series that we're doing. This is the third webinar. The next webinar is going to happen on May 25th, and on that webinar, you're going to hear about how Salesforce.com uses Chatter internally and how it's been a complete game changer for us. At the beginning of June, we have the fifth webinar in the series where we're going to hear from some of our early adopters. It's going to be basically a panel of our customers where they're going to talk about how they're using Chatter in their organizations. So with that said, I want to open up the call for some Q&A. I've got a lot of questions through the chat that was happening during Andrew's presentation. So let me start off with a question for Andrew. Andrew, when you turn on Chatter, is that for all objects, or do you get to choose which objects that you turned on for?
So what you saw in Natani's demo is actually that you get to not only choose which objects that you want to turn Chatter on, but then you can actually go down into the objects and select which fields of which object you want to actually be represented within the Chatter feed.
Excellent. Thank you. Scott, there's a question for you. How long did it take you to build your applications on Force.com?
If the question isn't specific, I think our professional services application, as I mentioned, was within approximately 3 weeks with a small team of about 3. Mm-hmm. We just deployed service and support, which takes advantage of the new knowledge base product. Mm-hmm. And had quite a bit of customization and is integrated with our legacy applications. This deployment took a little bit longer and had a few more people involved. And I think that one took probably about several months because there was some QA involved and there was some additional impact, directly towards our customers that we wanted to be, pretty confident that nothing would be impacted there. So.
Okay, great. Asani, I have a question for you. The amazing application. Have you somehow integrated your customer software system information through the use of alerts via Chatter, or how's it work?
It's a great question. Typically, what happens is, there is a class of applications available called intelligent diagnostics applications, which basically tap into, in our use case, for instance, if you want to look at the error messages or self-diagnostic information happening within an equipment, then you would actually integrate and bring in a intelligent diagnostics intelligent device management tool. So what we do is we integrate with intelligent management tools. So whenever the device raises an alert, the intelligent device management system grabs it, it passes it on to ServiceMax through Chatter Cloud API. Then we bring it into it and take action about it within ServiceMax.
Okay, that's very cool. Andrew, another question for you. So how much is Chatter?
That's probably my favorite question when it comes to Chatter, because so often, you're part of a product organization and you announce a new innovation and then you have to tell people how much it costs. It doesn't cost anything. Chatter is free. Chatter is enabled across all Force.com licenses and across all CRM licenses. So later this year, when we do go fully GA, we're simply going to make this capability part of every application that we provide or that you build on the Force.com platform. And really what we're saying out there is that every business application going forward should really have this level of productivity and collaboration built right from the ground up. One thing that I want to note too is that don't forget when it comes to Force.com applications, we talk about how you can be part of the Chatter program and you can be part of the beta, and we know that we have 30-day free trials out for CRM. But if anybody out there doesn't have Force.com licenses and you want to start building custom apps and you haven't done it, we also make that available free as well. So if you go out to Force.com and you simply sign up for freeforce.com, we'll allow you to build your first custom application on the Force.com platform, up to 10 custom objects, up to 100 users. You can build that free and you can run it. We don't turn it off after 30 or 60 days. And even those should be able to be enabled with Chatter when we go GA.
So another question that's come in is Chatter for everyone in my company? Can I turn it on for just a few users? Can I try it out to begin with? So that's a great question. So let me answer that as the Chatter product marketing director. Chatter is an switch that enables everyone in your company. Either everyone is on Chatter or no one, because it's an org level switch. So when you turn on Chatter, everyone becomes empowered instantly. And what we've heard from some of our beta customers like Interasys and like Sachi and Sachi is that they just turned it on without any user training at all, because it's so easy. You've seen how intuitive it is, and the users can start using it instantly. They update their profiles, they start following objects, they start following accounts, contacts, cases, custom applications, and so on. So it's amazingly simple to use, and we're really excited about releasing that into the wild very soon. So I know that we're coming up to the top of the hour. If you have any questions at all, you can always email us. Andrew Lee's email address is aleigh@salesforce.com. That's aleigh@salesforce.com. If you have any questions about Force.com or Chatter, or of course you can always email me as well, rdaniels@salesforce.com, if you have any questions as well. Thank you so much for joining our call. I want to thank all of our speakers. Andrew Lee, thank you very much. I want to thank you, Athani from ServiceMax, and of course you, Scott, from Stratus as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for paying attention for the last hour. Thank you, and have a great day.